Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Back with the live streams once again, Monday to Friday, as always. This is officially the second week now of the transfer window. Fun enough, the transfer window actually closes, I think, tomorrow, and then it's going to reopen again after like 6 days or something. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, people will still be getting deals done. But I think during that period, you won't be allowed to announce any players. So it's either we announce a player today, or we have to wait until the transfer window reopens again. But we have some news today, as always. Zubimendi is back on the news. Obviously, he played the final game for Spain yesterday before now his break. So what happens after that? The latest on Kudus. Kudus has been mentioned today as an Arsenal target. Same with Leroy, Sane, Sesko, as always, we'll be talking about him. And then the latest on Thomas Partey. So let's get to it straight away without wasting any time. And let's start with the Zubimendi news. And a lot of people are worried about the Zubimendi news. Personally, I'm not, but this has been reported today. Real Madrid are pushing hard to hijack Arsenal's deal to sign Martin Zubimendi, but Arsenal remain confident he will join them. Football London understands Zubimendi has already verbally agreed the move to Arsenal with only a medical left to complete. So people have been worried that Zubimendi will decide to join Real Madrid. People have been worried that after that interview, it's looking like Zubimendi is waiting for Madrid to make a last-minute offer so that he can go there. I see why people are worried. I mean, we saw him yesterday. He's a very, very good player. Spain unlucky not to win that game, but personally for his performance, he played really well against France and played really well against Portugal. So he's a player that would be a welcome addition to our midfield, especially when you start hearing, Partey might not be here next season and Jorginho has left. We definitely need a new midfielder there. And Zubimendi is the guy that we feel like it's already a done deal. We've already been told it's a done deal. Now, there's rumors going around saying that he's waiting for Real Madrid. But here's what I think. We've gotten information from like 5 different people, and all 5 of them have confirmed that he's going to join Arsenal. Let's start with Sami Mokbel. Sami Mokbel said that he's been very reliable in terms of Arsenal news. He already said in January that Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player. It's pretty much done. We are just waiting for the end of the season, and Zubimendi will be signing for Arsenal. That is what Sami Mokbel said, and he's been retweeting it and quote tweeting it since then. That was back in January. Second, Fabrizio has already given us a here we go for Zubimendi back in May. I think right after we maybe lost to PSG, we got a here we go for Zubimendi from Fabrizio. Fabrizio said it's already a done deal. I think he retweeted it the other day as well, saying Zubimendi is already a done deal. David Ornstein himself said, this was his exact words, I do not want to disrespect any other journalists, but for the news that I've gotten, Zubimendi is already an Arsenal player. So the ones who are saying that Zubimendi is not an Arsenal player, is not going to be an Arsenal player, I don't know where they're getting information from, but I don't want to disrespect them. That was his exact words. On top of that, Hand of Arsenal has also said that this is pretty much a done deal. Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player. He's just waiting to do a medical after playing for Spain. And then there's also some more news that we got, I think, a week ago, saying that Zubimendi and Arsenal, the move for Zubimendi will be delayed because Real Sociedad want this transfer to be done for their accounts from July. They don't want it to be done in this year. They want it to move to next year. So they've told us, no, just wait a little bit. You're going to get the play and then you're going to give us the money at the end of June because we need that money to show in next year's financial year. So that is what we've been told. But recently we've started hearing that, he's waiting for Real Madrid and all that. There's always that. I remember this is the exact thing that happened with Declan Rice. I'm very confident Zubimendi is already an Arsenal player. Same thing I said with Declan Rice. Sometimes you can get hijacked, yes, but very rare, especially after all of those people already put their reports on the line and said, yeah, this is basically done. It will take a miracle for this to change, unless Zubimendi completely ignores his word and whatever they've agreed on and decides last second that he's going to go to Real Madrid, because we've already been told he's happy to join Arsenal. He's already agreed to join Arsenal. He's already spoken to Barca. Real Madrid do not want to pay that 51 million release clause. So if you combine all that, he will be an Arsenal player. Remember when Declan Rice was about to join Arsenal, and then last second we started hearing Man City are going to make a bid for him, all that. People are a bit wide. But no, for me, Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player. When? I don't know, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's going to be after the transfer window reopens again, or after after July starts, I don't know when he's going to be an Arsenal player, but I'm confident Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player. Despite the reports going around that Zubimendi will not be an Arsenal player. So for me, in my head, as I said the other day, Zubimendi is already an Arsenal player. So let's see how that one goes. But I see why people are a little bit worried. People are worried because it's Real Madrid that are being mentioned, but I'm not worried about that. Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player. I don't think there's any way Arsenal can even let that happen. I don't think they would let it go this late unless they're 100% sure he's going to be an Arsenal player. So something has to have been agreed already, or something has to have been signed already. They're just waiting for the end of June. Because imagine if Zubimendi did not come and Partey left, then you're starting to look for another two midfielders from where it's difficult unless we've already done a lot of groundwork on Zubimendi. So next up, let's go to one player that I haven't really talked about a lot, but he is in the news today, and that is Mohammed Kudus. According to ex-West Ham employee, the guy who was giving us a lot of news when we wanted Declan Rice, Arsenal are among the clubs considering a move for Mohammed Kudus, whose preference is to remain in the Premier League. So Kudus has, I think this is the second time he's been mentioned this whole 2-3 weeks. Kudus has been mentioned now as an official target for Arsenal. Do I think we are very serious on Kudus? I don't think so. Do I think we are very serious on getting Lookman? I don't think so. Do I think Nico Williams will join Arsenal? I feel like no. I feel like the ones we're really looking at are players like Sesko and Rodrygo and Zubimendi. Players like Lookman and Kudus would be a surprise. I think even there's a bigger chance of Rodgers joining Arsenal ahead of someone like a Kudus. But Kudus has been mentioned now as a potential target. I love Kudus as a player. His first season at West Ham, he was really, really good. Second season, last season, West Ham had a poor season. Kudus also did not have a great season. So I don't know if it's because of him or because of the team being poor, but it was a poor season for West Ham overall. But the first season, he had a lot of goal contributions. The 4 or 5 times we've played against West Ham since Kudus joined, the first one in the Carabao Cup 2 seasons ago, he destroyed us. And last season as well, I think at our place, he played really, really well. So Kudus is a very good player. He's a player who can play for you. When he used to play for Ajax, he used to play basically as a midfielder, number 10, number 8. He can play on the right wing. He can play on the left wing for West Ham as well. He can play as a false 9. So exciting player. I wouldn't mind us getting someone like a Kudus, especially if it's 35-40 million. I think that is worth it. But if they start saying they want 70 million for Kudus, then that is a no for me. So depends on how much Kudus would be, because there's a lot of other wingers that I'm looking at. But he does have the Premier League experience. He's now been there for a couple of seasons. So it's great to be mentioned. You have to be mentioned. People always say why Arsenal always linked to every single player. But I always hear some other fans also saying why Arsenal not being linked to this player. You should be there for Vats. You should be there for Gyokeres. You should be there for this one, because that is where big teams are. You should be looking at all these top players, which is fair enough. But Kudus wouldn't be my first option unless his price is worth it. Just like Mbeumo. Mbeumo is a very good player, but because I want a left winger more than a right winger, I don't think it would have been worth it to go spend 70-80 million on Brian Mbeumo. So that is what ex-West Ham employee has said today. And then Leroy Sane, another winger we've been linked to. Arsenal will make an offer for Leroy Sane. Arsenal will submit a formal offer for Leroy Sane tomorrow, which is supposed to be today, who is being strongly pursued by Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. Since we last talked about Sane, he's now being linked with Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, and those teams usually, whenever they want people, they usually end up going there. I guess they have a lot of money there in Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, and Besiktas players always end up there. But Sane has been mentioned once again today. For Sane, I don't know how it's going to end up. I don't know if you're definitely going to get him or you're going to just wait and see. Hopefully, what I don't want to happen is I don't want Arsenal to, go for Rodrygo and then we fail to sign him, and then we go for Nico Williams and then we fail to sign him, and then we go for Morgan Rodgers and then we fail to sign him, and then we try Semenyo. It's too late. He's already gone to, let's say, Liverpool, and then we're like, okay, let's try Lookman. Too late. He's already gone to a Juventus, and then we're like, okay, everyone is gone. Let's go for Leroy Sane. No, that's not what I want to happen. I don't want it to be a panic signing like it was with Andre Santos and Park Chu-young and Kim Karlstrom, and Kim Karlstrom won us the trophy though, so he scored his penalty. Obviously recently Sterling was a panic buy. We didn't have anyone else to get in the final day, and he just decided, okay, let's just get him because he's available. Let's just get him for extra numbers. And Nelson has gone, Smith Rowe has gone, Ketia has gone. Who is available? Let's get him. I don't want that to happen with Sane. But if you got for me Rodrygo, and then you got for me a striker, and then you told me, okay, you've decided on Sesko, you've decided on Rodrygo, those two players have signed, and then you want to add Sane on top of that, I'll be like, okay, that is great. Bring for me Sane to Arsenal. I have no problem with that. As a third signing, no problem. But as the main winger signing, no. And as a panic signing after everyone else has failed, no. Go for Rodrygo, go for... if Sane is still available in August, then you have to ask yourself why he's still available in August. You also have to ask yourself those questions because if he's linked by a lot of teams, he should have already gone by then. But if he's the third signing, I have no problem with that. But because we've made a couple of mistakes in the last 2-3 transfer windows, not even 2, we have signed good players like Declan Rice, but obviously if you combine, I want Havertz to stay. I'm different from most of you. I don't want Havertz to leave. I want him to be on the bench next season, but I don't think he should be getting 270,000 per week. That is a lot of money that we put him on, so that was a mistake. Signing Sterling was a mistake as well. I think also letting go of Smith Rowe, Nelson, Ketia, Vieira without signing any attacking player was also a very, very big mistake. Not signing a striker last time was a big mistake. Not signing anyone in January was a big mistake. Because if you sign someone, you never know. Maybe you'd have beaten Newcastle and gone on to win the Carabao Cup or something. You never know. Maybe it would have been the difference against PSG in the second leg, and you'd have been in a Champions League final. You never know. So I think we made like 4 or 5 mistakes. Right now, we cannot afford to make any more mistakes at all. So it has to be perfect. So you cannot buy Sane and then it doesn't work out. So Sane will be for free. If he does end up joining us, it's going to be a free deal. So let's see how that one goes. Of course, it wouldn't be a Monday morning, Monday afternoon, wherever you are, Monday night, if we don't speak about Sesko. Plettenberg had this to say yesterday. Arsenal and Leipzig have already scheduled their next round of talks regarding Benjamin Sesko, with a positive feeling around a possible deal. Leipzig values Sesko between 80 million and 100 million euros, which is around 67 million pounds to 67 million pounds to around 80 million pounds. So around there, I think we're going to get him for like 70 million. I don't know how we are going to pay the money, if it's going to be installments, because it's supposed to be a release clause, but we are negotiating it. So Leipzig want more money. I think eventually you're going to end up paying it like in installments or something. I do think Sesko will be an Arsenal player. So the likes of Rodrygo and Nico Williams and all these other guys, I am not sure. But the 2 players that I'm going to say are definitely going to be Arsenal players are going to be Zubimendi and Sesko. The rest, I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe Kepa as well, but let's see if you never know. Chelsea might even reject that. You just never know what is going to happen. So I don't know what is going to happen with Kepa, but Zubimendi, I'm 100% confident is going to be an Arsenal player, just like I said with Declan Rice. For Sesko, I'm going to say 80% he's going to be an Arsenal player. The only thing that can stop this is if Leipzig end up asking for 100 million and then Arsenal decide, no, let's go and try Gyokeres or someone else. So if they decided that is a striker, let's make sure we get our plan A signings. Let's not settle for plan B and plan C signings. No. If you want Sesko, make sure you get the deal done as soon as possible. If you want Rodrygo, make sure to try and get the deal done as soon as possible. If you've decided on Kepa, get him and let's finalize those deals right now, because again, I don't want us to get to August and you're trying to focus on the league and then we look at the bench and we've still not yet signed a goalkeeper. We're still thinking, oh, who's going to be now? We want us to complete these deals like we did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, get these deals done early. The transfer window, Jesus and Zinchenko and all those guys, we had the transfers done very quickly. Let's do that again, and then hopefully we can focus on preseason and focus on the league campaign, because I think the fixtures are coming out next week, Wednesday. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think it's next week, Wednesday, when the Premier League fixtures are coming out. You have to be serious from day one. That is what, since we started fighting for league titles and being second, I realized, every single game usually matters, yes. But when you're competing for top 4, you'd feel like, okay, slow start, no problem. If you lose the first 2 games, you still have that 6 games to go. No, in the Premier League these days with Man City and Liverpool, there, if you lose the first 2 games, it's pretty much over. You're not going to catch up with them, even with that 6 games to go. No, you have to start with a win, whether you're playing Sunderland at home, whether you're playing Man United away. the first 10 games, you literally need to win 9. Whichever team you're coming up against, the first 10 games, you need to win 9 of them. That is just how it has to be. You know, the first time we competed with Man City, we started the season very well. We only lost to Man United, and we had like a 5-point gap heading into the World Cup. That's what it needs to be. You have to be like 9 wins out of 10 the first 10 games, not 4 wins and 4 draws and 2 losses. Now you're going to be left behind. And Man City are signing players very quickly. Liverpool obviously are going to sign players as well. You never know in Newcastle and Chelsea, so you cannot just be comfortable. I'll come to your comments. I can see there's 109 of you on YouTube and 100 of you on Facebook. Thank you for being here. Let's talk about Partey. Arsenal made Partey what they considered to be a competitive offer around 10 days ago, but at this moment in time, there's still no agreement between the parties and the situation remains open. This is according to Ryan Taylor Sports. So Partey is still not. Partey has an offer from Arsenal, but he has still not signed the contract. So I don't know. I'm not sure if Partey wants to definitely stay at Arsenal. Probably 60%, 70% he wants to stay, but maybe 30% is still thinking, okay, let me wait. If Barcelona wants me or for Real Madrid wants me, let me just wait and see. And it depends on the contract offer as well. If Arsenal tell him you're going to give you 1 year and maybe you're going to still be on the same money you're on, or you're going to reduce it to 150,000 per week, maybe he doesn't want that. Maybe someone else is going to give him 3 years. Someone else is going to give him the same money he's on at Arsenal. I wish I would have been in those negotiation rooms to see, how much he wants, how much, because I want Partey to stay for a lot of reasons, because he was great last season, because I don't want us to start again looking for a different midfielder. I want us to focus on the forward positions. But something is, if his demands are too crazy, then there's nothing he can do. If Partey says right now he wants 3 years and he wants to get 220,000 per week, you cannot do that. For his age and all that, you cannot give him 3 years and then add his money. You cannot do that. But Partey himself can say, hey, you watched the PSG game when I was not there. You saw how much you guys struggled. You need to give me that money or I'm going to leave. That can also happen. But Arsenal can also tell him, you know what? We now have Zubimendi next season. You're going to have to settle for 1 year or 2 years, or we can let you go. The problem is with letting him go right now, we already 1 week into the transfer window. Time will move this quickly. Before you know it, we're going to be in July without signing any players, and then you start looking for a midfield, and then you start looking for a winger. We've already been told that we want a right wing as well. So for me, this is what I want our midfield to be, the two of them, and then we can rotate with Merino and not Merino. Merino is better going forward than maybe as a number 8 and striker most of the times, because whenever Merino is asked to play the number 6 position, unless you have him in a double pivot, if you have Merino and Partey together, or Merino and Zubimendi the way they played for Spain the other day together, you can have Merino in that position, no problem, because he's still one of the best. He was the best in terms of winning duels when he had Sociedad. But if you're asking Merino to collect the ball from the defense or from the goalkeeper, he's not very good at that. Partey is the best at that in our team in terms of getting the ball and turning and moving it quickly. Partey is better than at that, and maybe Zubimendi as well. From what we saw yesterday and from what we've seen from Sociedad days, is great. So if you start selling or letting go of Partey right now, you're going to have to get another midfielder, and we've not even finished the Zubimendi deal. It's going to be too much. So I would give Partey that, but hopefully his demands are not too crazy. And hopefully he does want to stay in England, because Gabriel told us him and his family want to stay in England. Hopefully Partey is the same with his wife and their new kid as well, if the new kid can also make decisions. David Ornstein, I talked about this yesterday, but let me mention it here again. David Ornstein yesterday said that Arsenal are focusing on a new number 9, whether it's going to be Sesko or Gyokeres. I think it's going to be Sesko now. They also want a top quality wide player. Hopefully that is Rodrygo, ideally on the left side. They would also like some backup for Saka on the right, and that's why they targeted Mbeumo. In midfield, they need to renew Partey or let him go, and if he goes, they're going to have to replace him. They would like a center half. They were in for Hausen, but didn't manage to get him. So watch this space on that. You see, that is too much. Already, if you let go of Partey, that sounds like too much. So if you let go of Partey, you have to go for a striker, a left winger. We want a right winger as well. That's already 3 players. We need a backup goalkeeper. That's 4. We want a center back. That's 5. Zubimendi will be 6. And then we need another midfield after Partey. That's 7. That is 7. And I still personally, as a fan, I want us to get another number 8 or number 10, someone like a Morgan Rogers. That is 8. You're not going to sign 8 players in one transfer window. That is definitely not going to happen. I'm expecting 4 players, half of that, 4 or 5, if you add the goalkeeper. So if you let go of Partey, you need an extra midfielder. Now, for the people who also said they want to sell Martinelli and Trossard, that means you'll need another left wing on top of that. That is not going to happen. So because I want us to add quality, but I also want us to, have quantity, because we've struggled in terms of quantity. I'm happy to keep Martinelli on the bench. I'm happy to keep Trossard on the bench. I'm happy to keep Partey in terms of the squad to rotate with Zubimendi. Mostly those 3, I'm happy to keep them. The rest, we can talk. If they were able to sell Jesus today, I have no problem with that. But Jesus is not going to be sold because he has an ACL injury. No one is going to buy someone with an ACL injury. I want us to... Zinchenko is probably going to leave. Tierney is leaving already. I don't want Kivior to leave. I want Kivior to stay. I'm happy with us signing Kepa. I was also happy with us keeping Karl Hein or someone like that as our second choice goalkeeper. So it's still a lot to do. For me, I want us to get a left winger, a striker, an extra attacking midfielder who can play 8 and 10. I was happy to have Nwaneri as a Saka backup, or even, some of other players 1-2 games here and there. And then Zubimendi, and then a defender, a goalkeeper first, and then if you're able to get a cheap defender like we are going to get Kepa for cheap, no problem, because I feel like we also need a defender. But things have to... there's a lot to do. There's definitely a lot to do. If you look at the contracts, we still need to negotiate Nwaneri's contract, Lewis Kelly's contract, Martinelli's contract, Trossard's contract, Partey's contract. Luckily, Gabriel has signed. And most importantly, number 1 and 2, Saka and Saliba. We have to get those contracts done before even anyone else. Saka and Saliba, after Gabriel for sure. Those ones need to be fast before anyone else. You have to keep... we cannot go into next year with Saka having 1 year remaining on his contract. That is criminal. Saka and Saliba, they should be amongst the top 3 highest paid players at Arsenal. And I don't think... what position is Saka? Maybe 4th or something? Yeah, Saka is not like he should be number 1. Saka should be number 1 in terms of highest paid players at Arsenal, but he's not there. It's Jesus and Havertz and Declan Rice. I think Odegaard is there as well. Saka needs to be on high wages as well. He's been incredible for us. Consistency-wise, Saka has been incredible, man. How many years? Since 2020, just consistent throughout. Yeah, he needs to be a highest paid player. How are you, RK? Thanks for being here as always. Let me do this. RK says, how are you doing, Glenn? I'm doing good. Good afternoon, Anu. Been a while. Thank you for being here. Always live every Monday to Friday. Weekend, I'm going to be live if there's a lot of news, because on Saturday, there wasn't anything at all. Is Arsenal really serious about new players because other teams are busy right now, or is that because of Club World Cup that is pushing them? For Man City and Chelsea, it's because of the Club World Cup. That's why they're rushing to sign players. For Arsenal, if we need to rush to sign a player, it's going to be because that team wants us to sign them quickly, or that player wants us to make a decision quickly, or we are afraid any other team are going to come in for him. So I don't think Arsenal are in a rush to get Zubimendi because they already feel like he's already an Arsenal player, and we've already been told since that want us to wait a bit until almost close to July. For Sesko, let's wait and see. If Gyokeres was sold today to a different team and Sesko said, hey, you have to make a decision right now, Arsenal would have to rush, because if they didn't get him, someone else would get him as quickly as possible, and then he'll be stranded. But yeah, for Man City already signing 3 players. That is because they're going to play in the Club World Cup. There was no way we are going to sign 3 players by June 9th. If Arsenal signed 3 players by June 9th, it was going to be history. We're going to put it in the history books. We need to finalize on Zubimendi deal. It's not over until it's over. You're right, it's not over until it's over, but obviously the reports are his interviews are a bit concerning, but again, there's no player or manager that usually says yeah, I'm actually going to Arsenal next week, or no one usually says that. Everyone says like, nah, I'm not sure. But Zubimendi, Fabrizio has already said here we go. David Dunstan has already said he's definitely an Arsenal player. Now, when the two of them say that, and then it's backed up by Sami Mokbel, who's been very good in Arsenal news, and Hand of Arsenal, who's a very good ITK as well. And we've already been told from Spanish reports that he's already an Arsenal player. Right now, there's only like 2 or 3 journalists who are telling us, no, you're not sure. I think Ben Jacob is one of them, and a couple of reports from Spain, and also a few others. But yeah, for me, Zubimendi is already an Arsenal player. I'm 100% sure Zubimendi is already an Arsenal player. It's going to be... It would be a disaster if it did end up an Arsenal player. I don't know where they would start, because that will mean, again, they would have to panic again. And even if they didn't want to give Partey a new contract, they would be forced to give him a new contract. I don't want us to be in situations where we are panicking and making rash decisions. Good evening from Nigeria. Good evening, Gyokeres. Zubimendi is our beloved Arsenal family already, says Golden. I believe so as well. Good afternoon. Really missed the program, says Sheriff. Every Monday to Friday, a weekend not so much unless there's news. So this particular time, Monday to Friday, every single Monday to Friday, this same exact time. The other times, Saturday and Sunday, it could be any time. If there's any breaking news as well, even if it's 12 a.m., we'll be going live to talk about it. I remember the Declan Rice news came out at 2 a.m. some other time. When you signed Declan Rice, the first, second bid or something, it came out at 2 a.m. So things can happen anytime. I can't wait to see him at Arsenal. This Arsenal thing of waiting, I guess you mean is getting so much, says Solomon. I would say don't look at Man City and Chelsea because they're going to play the Club World Cup. The others, yes, we can look at the Liverpools and those other teams that are not playing Club World Cup and wonder, you know why. Adi says, how far is Gyokeres? I don't think Gyokeres is Arsenal's main target. I think it's like an emergency signing. If we didn't get Sesko, then we'd go for Gyokeres. Gyokeres has not been... There's no one who has made a bid for Gyokeres yet, as of now, so which is surprising. Twiggy says, Glenn, do you want Sesko Gyokeres? I want Gyokeres. I wanted Gyokeres since last transfer window before he scored the 80 goals this season. If you go back to the videos from last year, June and May, when you're talking with Koz in all those shows, I always said I wanted Gyokeres. He asked me between Gyokeres and Isaac, and I chose Gyokeres last year, a year ago. So since then, he scored another 80 goals or 80 goal contributions. Gyokeres would be my choice. But yeah, I think Sesko is going to be the one who's going to be the Arsenal player. And as soon as Sesko joins Arsenal, we're going to hope that Sesko is going to do the job for us, and you're going to stop talking about Gyokeres, and hopefully they're going to make the right decision, because I don't think you're in a position to make any other bad decision right now. Mubarak says, Mr. Glenn, big up. So well, I'm so thrilled for that Zubimendi update. Yeah, for me, I mean, the update we've gotten for Zubimendi is that Madrid could hijack him. But also Real Madrid have this tendency. If you follow Real Madrid reports, you'll feel like they're going to sign everyone, because those Real Madrid accounts, man, they feel like they're Real Madrid. They can take anyone. That is just the truth. But if you believe all of those reports right now, you'd feel like Zubimendi is going to Real Madrid and Saliba is going to be sold to Real Madrid. That's how some fans feel whenever it's Real Madrid. But for me, Saliba is going to sign a new contract. Hopefully, I'm not 100% sure of that. But Zubimendi, I'm 100% sure is going to be an Arsenal player. And Twiggy says, I don't want Leroy Sane anywhere near this club. Rodrygo, if you're a serious club. Yeah, Rodrygo is the kind of Sane that will take it to the next level. Rajab says we need Kudus. He's so good. Arsenal needs everybody, but to make things happen is always a mountain to climb, says Sylvester. I'm going to give Bata time. Let's see how we feel by the time we get to July, how quickly we get deals done and which kind of deals he'll do. Control of the midfield. I don't think we'd put Jorginho on the same list as the other Chelsea players we've signed. Zubimendi is that and young, and he's won trophies before. He's a machine in midfield, and I think we'll be fielding a double pivot in midfield. I think we're going to see a few changes here and there, different games. That is what I want to see. I don't want us to be predictable every single game. With Zubimendi and Rice, so that any of them can move while another remains as a sixth. An unpredictable movement in midfield between the two is what I think will happen. I can't wait to see him. I see Kimmich. Wow, interesting. He's the reason I watched the league final yesterday, and he proved me right. He was very good. The goal that they scored basically came from him. Thank you for your comment, Ayub. So yeah, I want us to try different things next season. Sometimes you play a double pivot. We don't have to play Declan Rice 60 games in a season. No. Sometimes you can have Partey and Zubimendi as a double pivot. Zubimendi can carry the ball forward and have Partey collecting the ball. Sometimes you can even have Merino and Partey. You have Partey collecting the ball and Merino pushing forward, and that allows you to rest Declan Rice or rest Zubimendi. Just different things. Sometimes, depending on the game, you can have only Declan Rice in midfield, just that. Sometimes if you have two midfielders on the pitch at the same time and it's 0-0, I want us to try something different. That's when now you take off Partey or you take off Zubimendi, and then you bring in an attacking player like a Trossard off the bench, and then you have 4 or 5 attackers on the pitch. I didn't want Arteta to leave Arsenal. I've never been Arteta out, but one criticism I have of last season, something I don't like about him, is the subs. Now, that could be because we had injuries or didn't have enough players, but sometimes there was other options on the bench. I don't like when Arteta does Tierney off, Zinchenko on, Martinelli off, Trossard on, Havertz off, Jesus on, Odegaard off, Noneri on. It's too similar. It's too similar, especially when the game is 0-0. If the game is like 2-0, I can understand. But when the game is like 0-0 and you need to go and attack, no, you have to take off you have to try something. Go to a back three, take off I don't know, take off Lewis Kelly, take off Kiwi or someone. You bring an extra forward player. That is what I want to see next season. If the game is 0-0, I want to look at the Arsenal team and we have Odegaard on the pitch, Saka on the pitch, Sesko on the pitch, Trossard on the pitch, Havertz on the pitch, 5 attacking players. Doesn't matter. Merino on sometimes, depending on the game. City are signing because the Club World Cup and these signings are in panic. Man City are signing quickly because they have the Club World Cup, and I'm sure they want to win it because they didn't win anything this past season. So they're one of the favorites to win it. So, yeah, and also I try not to look at Man City. I usually look at Liverpool and these other guys. I don't think anyone can compete with Man City and PSG financially. Man City can go right now and sign Vats for 130 million and go and sign anyone else for 100. Man City have Grealish 100 million on the bench. I don't think Arsenal, we can ever have someone like a Grealish 100 million sitting on the bench. You saw we signed Pepe for 72 million, and up until today we are crying that we signed Pepe for 72 million. It didn't work. So Man City just move on. Man City signed Nico Gonzalez for, that's his name, right? Nico Gonzalez for like 50, 60 million, and they're already signing his replacement 5 months later. Kai is intelligent. I want him at Arsenal, says Benjamin. Yeah, I don't want Kai Havertz to leave. There's no even chance that Kai Havertz would leave because and the only way Kai Havertz would leave is if you are going to get the same money for him or a profit. So that means someone has to come and pay us 70 million right now. If we want to sell Kai Havertz right now, how much would we get for him? I don't think Arsenal will go and sell Havertz for 30 million right now and make a loss of 35 million after 2 years. That is not going to be possible. And also his wages are so high, so he doesn't have to leave. He can just say, I'm going to stay. But you don't have Havertz on the pitch to depend on him to score goals for you. No. Anything else is fine. Havertz does the pressing very well, but we usually don't have anyone to finish. Or he presses very well, he wins the ball back, and then he misses the chance. That is the problem. So if he's winning the ball back high with Odegaard and then they're passing the ball to someone else, that has no problem. I'm absolutely fine with that. But also in terms of crosses and all that. And there's some games where I usually feel like I wanted Kai. There's a couple of games I felt like I wanted Kai to be there. You see those games where we were being bullied by... It was PSG, right? I think PSG was bullying us with even Joan Neves was donating us there. Those are the kind of games you wanted to have us there because he'd never get bullied. But in terms of depending on him to score goals for you, no, we need a striker. And then if Havertz is coming on as a second striker in the last 20, 25 minutes of the game, I have no problem with that. But let's see how the third season goes. Let's see. 13 goals in the Bundesliga. No way is that worth 80 to 100 million. I don't want Sesko, I want a goal scorer like Gyokeres. I don't think they just look at 1 year, though. I think they're also looking at how well he's done, I guess, since he was 17. There's a certain way I think he scored 20-something when he was like 18. It's a tough one. I just hope it works, too. I can't lie. I just hope it works. I'm just praying it really works because if it doesn't, we're in trouble. Whichever striker we said, it has to work. How far is Partey's contract, says Tugome. So let me recap what I went through. Let's see this. So Zubimendi, there's reports that Real Madrid are pushing to hijack Zubimendi's deal. Football.London has said. So depending if you're going to be worried about that, because for me, since Fabrizio has already said, here we go, and David Onstein has confirmed that he's basically an Arsenal player, and hand of Arsenal and Sami Mokbel, they already confirmed it. I feel like Zubimendi is going to be an Arsenal player, despite what he said. Arsenal also want Kudus now, according to ex-West Ham employee. Arsenal will make an offer for Leroy Sane today, according to reports. Let's see. Arsenal and Leipzig have already scheduled their next round of talks. It's Sesko, so let's see how this one goes. And then for the Partey question, Arsenal made Partey what they consider to be a competitive offer around 10 days ago, but at this moment in time, there is still no agreement between the parties and the situation remains open. So that is the information, Arsenal have given him a contract offer, but he's still not yet signed it. And then Arsenal are focusing on getting a number 9. We're also focusing on getting a left wide player and then a Saka backup. And then we also want a centre back. And obviously, we are going to sign a goalkeeper. So that is the latest for today. Let's see. Arsenal should be serious in terms of transfer, says Sula. Cargo says Glenwise Kepa Arrizabalaga so cheap like that, from 8 million Chelsea signed to 5 million. Yeah, obviously the value drops since then. That was 2019 or something. The value dropped since then. That's 6 years later. And he's still a very good goalkeeper. So that is interesting, because even this season, Bomber, I think he won Save of the Month maybe once or twice. So he's been nominated at least 3 times for Save of the Month. So he's still a very good goalkeeper. So I'd say value. Also, age is now into his 30s. So you're not going to sign him for 40 million into his 30s. So age is a factor as well. And also, he did have a poor time at Chelsea. So there's that as well. And the 5 million is the release clause. I don't know how much. Maybe he has like a year or two on the contract. So I think Chelsea thought Bournemouth would buy him or something. So they just wanted to make sure that Bournemouth would buy him, but Bournemouth are not going to buy him because of the wages. So it might be an error on Chelsea's side putting that release clause there. But yeah, that is the reason why I would get him as well. 5 million for a goalkeeper was signed for that 80 million. I think it was 71 million pounds just 5-6 years ago. That's crazy though, but it's a backup goalkeeper, not as a main starting goalkeeper. Kudus only scored 4 goals better than Waneri. Yeah. So what I try to do with that one, I try to look at 2 seasons, 3 seasons. I usually try to avoid looking at 1 season. Because if you look at 1 season, Nicolas Pepe was the best player in the world. That's why we signed him. That 1 season he played for Lille. He was scoring 20 plus goals. He was incredible. He was better than Salah at that point. He was better than Ronaldinho. He was better than everyone. So I try to look at 2 seasons. So that is why when last season, when people asked me if you want to keep Jesus or Zinchenko, I said Jesus was very good in the first season, and second season not so good. I'm going to give him the 3rd season. This past season was his 3rd season. So after 2 bad seasons or 2 poor seasons or below par seasons, we can talk about selling him. Same with Zinchenko, same situation. Any other player as well that you're signing, that's why I looked at Gyokeres as well. 4 or 5 seasons scoring goals. You want a player like that. You want a player like Isaac, Rodrygo. So Kudus, the first season at West Ham, he was very, very good. But second season, he was poor, and also the team itself was poor. So it's a combination of different things. Maybe if Declan Rice was still at West Ham, we'd be looking at him and saying, nah, Declan Rice is not good enough. But we've seen, because of those years he had played at West Ham, all those years, we brought him at Arsenal, and you can see how good he is. So, yeah, I see what you're saying about Kudus. He wouldn't be my first option, but if he became available for like 30 million, I wouldn't mind it. We need to tie Partey down to a new bumper contract. I don't agree with bump. I don't want like 4 years or something. No, you also have to consider a lot of things. You also do not want Partey to be starting for you in 2028. By then, you would hope that you've moved on to young and more world-class players by then, you know. The plan is not to have Partey and Martinelli and all Trossard still here in 2028. No, you have to keep on moving forward. But I want him to sign a new contract for at least 1 more year. I need him to be here next season. We cannot let him go this time right now. Evaristo says, hello, Glenn. I would like to see Viktor instead of Sesko, in my opinion. Yako is far better than Sesko. Time for transfer. Arsenal is not trying, says Ajayi. Mogi says, how are you, Glenn? For me, I'm sure you're going to get Subi, Sesko, Liao, and Sane. Liao, nah. Liao would be fantasy signing. Yeah, the Arsenal signing Liao would be out of this world. I do not expect that to happen. I don't think Arsenal have really ever wanted Liao that much. They would have to. He would be like 6th choice, I think, for Arsenal, someone like a Liao. Please get Rogers to Arsenal, says Emmanuel. RK says, please subscribe and smash the like button. Since there's a lot of you in the chat, let me just quickly put a poll. Let me ask you since Liao is now being linked, let me ask you guys which one you would take, just very, very quickly. Give me 1 second. I put this poll in the chat. How much would you guys be willing to pay for Rafa Liao? because they are a couple of years ago they wanted like 100 million or something. But there's a time Chelsea wanted him. Started Paul. Who would you prefer? Let's see. So between these two. Oh, actually three. Let me put three. Leao, Nico, Rodrygo. So let me know who you would take from that. So, Leao, Rodrygo, and Nico. So Nico Williams would be around 60 million, 50 million, 60 million. Leao, probably more than that. And then Rodrygo would be like 80 million. Rodrygo would be a lot of money, so it wouldn't be cheap. We Arsenal fans from Kano State, we are so annoyed with Arsenal transfer strategy. We wish Arsenal will be serious about transfer to get it done soon. Kenny says, is Zubimendi already an Arsenal player or not? Anyway, thanks very much for the updates. You're welcome. He's not yet an Arsenal player, but as I said, Fabrizio, David Onstein, Sammy Mokbel have already said it's already a done deal pretty much. So yeah, it's going to take like something crazy to happen for him not to join Arsenal. And the Crankers are actually richer than Todd Boehly, so what's the excuse? Also, not too serious in Chelsea. If Chelsea was in our situation, they would be breaking the bank for Rodrygo right now. I think someone said, why am I United always signing players so early and Arsenal not? So, as I said, I try to look at teams like Liverpool. I do not like looking at teams like Man United and Chelsea in terms of signing players, Twiggy, because if you look at the players that they've signed, especially Man United, almost 90% of them end up being flops because they just paid the money for whichever player that comes up. Sancho, Højlund, even Ronaldo went to Man United and failed. So I try not to look at those teams. Chelsea's the same. Chelsea, yeah, it works for them sometimes because they end up winning trophies, I know, but I think I don't like the way Chelsea and Man United sign players. So I try to look at Liverpool and maybe even City because you're competing with them. Chelsea signed even 7 wingers in one transfer window. And then the next transfer, they sell 5 of them. So I don't like their transfer strategy, to be honest, Twiggy. You know, they signed Felix and then 5 months later is gone. And then they signed Nkunku, and then they waited for him to come back from injury, and then now they want to sell him, and then they splash so much money on Dewsbury Hall, and then 5 months later they want him to go. I don't like that transfer strategy of signing players and then 2 months later you want them to go, and then 1 month later you've paid 100 million for them and then you want them to go. So I think Chelsea's transfer approach is very different from many other teams. What I would like us to have what I would like us to do that Chelsea does is have enough players in your squad. That is what I want. Chelsea have like 30, 35 players in their team. I want us to have at least 24, 25 players we can use. That I can agree with. But in terms of Rodrygo's situation, yeah, players like Rodrygo are worth it. So I would wish we'd be quicker in terms of getting players like Rodrygo. Deal not yet done, smart boy. Elias says, Glenn, any updates on the Turkish wonder kid? I wonder Arsenal very close to acquire the signature, so how far it goes the name? Oh, you mean Greek? Konstantinos Karetsas. Oh, I actually remember the name. They said Arsenal are going to make a bid, but Arsenal are going to wait. They're not going to be in a rush fast. They want to get these other big deals done fast. And then even if he signs for us, he's not going to come this transfer window. He's going to come in the next transfer window. So that's the latest on Karetsas Konstantinos, the Greek wonder kid. Fred says, but you're all hearing rumors, other clubs, they are buying players. Yeah, hopefully before preseason, hopefully we do have our signings through the door. I don't want us to wait until the last minute. Let's see. Arsenal need to make fast signings before it's too late, says Marian. Dowda says, I really don't rate Leao. I believe he's like Grealish. Oh, nah, Leao is not like Grealish. He might come to England and end up like Grealish. You never know. But no, Leao is those kind of players, explosive. There's very few players that use the word explosive. Thierry Henry, Aguero, Leao. No, not in terms of being as world class as Henry and or Henry. Let me say it right. And and Aguero, not that level, but I'm saying the players will just take the ball and just run with it or goal right away. Even Harry Kane is an explosive striker, like just right away, boom, goal. Those explosive strikers, explosive players. Grealish is not an explosive player. Grealish is I don't know which word to use, but you know what I mean. He's not an explosive player who's going to bully you and go past you 10 times in a game and shoot the ball with his left foot. No, that is Leao. I don't think Grealish can do that. They are fancy wingers. They're explosive wingers. I prefer to have an explosive winger, someone who can take on players numerous times, shoot the ball, cut to his right foot, shoot the ball, all that. Charles says rumors are circulating on social media that Real Madrid are coming for Zubimendi. Is it true? I've already talked about that several times already. Charles, basically, there's rumors, but most of the top journalists have already said he's going to be an Arsenal player. For me, 100% is going to be an Arsenal player. It's because whenever Real Madrid are mentioned in terms of wanting a player, everyone usually panics because it's Real Madrid, but not in this situation. Look, Ademola Lookman all the way says Junior. I would want Lookman. It's been mentioned by Arsenal before, but I don't think Lookman and Leao are high on Arsenal's list, unfortunately. Ado says, I think Rafa Leao is a better signing than Sane. Oh, I mean, yeah, if you compare the two, of course. Leao is younger. I don't even know how old exactly Leao is, but I'm sure he's younger than Sane. As I said, he's an explosive winger. Sane used to be explosive when he used to play for Man City. That's an explosive winger when he used to play at Man City. Can just like a lot of goal contributions right away. But yeah, he's more affordable because he's free, Sane. He's more affordable in terms of wages, although Sane is a free agent, but I don't think he has enough to offer at Arsenal. I get what you mean. Yeah, I probably agree with that. I would like Leao, but I don't think Leao and Sane are on the same transfer square for Arsenal. Leao would be in the same square as Rodrygo and Nico Williams. You get one of them, and then Sane would be in the cheaper ones that you'd want to get. Tenda is watching from Botswana. We've talked about Sesko as well already. Let me see who you guys voted for in terms of if you're watching on Facebook, let me know. Would you take Leao, Rodrygo, or Nico Williams today? If you could take any of them, who would you take today? Jay says Leao. Jay has commented very quickly. That's a very quick response. Let me see. So far on YouTube, 77% Rodrygo. Oh, we don't have to even wait for any more votes. 73% is a lot. That's a lot. Rodrygo, 73%. Second is Leao, 15%. So Nico Williams is last on people's list. Interesting. Let's get Nico. I watched the game yesterday, says Musonda. I mean, both of them are very good. Rodrygo would be my first option, but I mean, if next season we had Nico Williams there, or Leao there, or Rodrygo there, I'd still be excited. Edu says Leao. Charles says Rodrygo. Dauda says Rodrygo. Ado says Rodrygo. Junior says Rodrygo. So you get the point. Rodrygo as well. Peter says Rodrygo. Yeah. Morgi says Rodrygo. Rodrygo. So you get the point. We don't even have to wait for any more comments. People want this guy at Arsenal. I also want him at Arsenal. Let's hope we can get him. I'd be very happy with Rodrygo. Rodrygo be the kind of sign, like the way we signed Ozil and Alexis Sanchez and Aubameyang, those kind of players. And it's an exciting signing. When you sign a forward player like that we are very excited heading into next season. You're like, okay, how many goals is he going to score? How is he going to feature how is he going to fit in the Premier League? Yeah, this is a lot of Rodrygos. Jacob says Rodrygo. Nasarawa says Rodrygo. Henry says Rodrygo. Edu says Arsenal should go and try to adjust Gittins. I'm not too keen on getting Gittins, to be honest. I have 3-4 different wingers ahead of him. Gittins, I think, probably would be on that list right now because it's cheap. I think Chelsea made a 35 million bid for him. Yeah, I wouldn't be too high on my list. I want Rodrygo and players like Leao first. Not sure Nico is even ready to come to Arsenal. Yeah, that's the thing with Nico Williams. It always feels like he wants to stay at Bilbao for some reason. Good afternoon, says Alex. I think Arsenal signing is too slow for my liking. Ilya says, Glenn, this summer transfer window is a bit weird in the sense that it closes tomorrow. Yeah, by the way, guys, the transfer window closes tomorrow, as Elias has said, but it opens again after 6 days. I have no idea why they did that at all. I know they opened it early because of the Club World Cup, but closing it. So I don't know between 10th and 16th if you're not allowed to talk to players or if you're not allowed to announce anything at all, but you can still like do deals in the background and stuff. I don't know, but yeah, the transfer window will close for 6 days for some reason. Arsenal should do everything possible to keep Thomas Partey inside. Signs Zubimendi, says Musa. I agree with that. With Rodrygo, he can switch and play on both wings. Exactly. He does want to leave Real Madrid because he wants to play on the left wing mostly. He can back up Saka for a few times, as always, on the right wing. Rodrygo would be a perfect signing, says Anu. Atuza says Rodrygo. Musa says Rodrygo is my first option, followed by Nico Williams. There's a lot of people who want Rodrygo. You're now 71% people wanting Rodrygo. Everyone wants Rodrygo. We all want Rodrygo. That is the kind of quality signing that you'd want. There's a comment I missed here. Twiggy says Leah hasn't been good for AC Milan the last few seasons. I haven't really followed his numbers that much, but yeah, like even yesterday when he came on for Portugal, you can just tell how much he's so explosive. Like, it just makes a difference right away. I think there's a comment I missed here. Jacob says, no matter what, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I don't think Arsenal have anything special for this transfer because others are busy signing players while Arsenal are busy linking with players every day. Good afternoon. Thanks for the good work watching from Sierra Leone. Thank you, Osman. I've seen Sierra Leone, I've seen Zambia, I've seen Nigeria, I've seen Kenya, I've seen Dubai, I've seen... I know there's a couple of people in the chat who are from US. Let me know where you're watching from if I didn't mention your country. Ilya says, I think FIFA ought to have closed for only the participating teams. I don't think that would be fair, though. I think they wanted to do that beginning to open it for only the teams that are competing, but it wouldn't make sense. What if Arsenal and Chelsea want the same players, It's not fair. Chelsea would have an advantage in terms of signing him quickly, and Arsenal would have an advantage in terms of signing them more time to sign them. So now you just leave the transfer window. You just open it on June 1st and you close it on September 1st. That's it. You just do it the way it's supposed to be done, because that wouldn't be fair. Teams would start complaining. I don't think it's worth it. Musanda says, Kudus. Rumors lead something. How true is it? I wouldn't say it's been mentioned by someone who has some details on West Ham. So I don't think it's high on Arsenal's list, although you never know. We always go back for players, because I heard that Arsenal wanted Kepa like 2 years ago. I heard that Arsenal wanted Jorginho. Arteta wanted Jorginho very early, even before he signed Partey. I heard that Arteta wanted Jorginho that 2020 COVID time. He wanted Jorginho. We always go back for players that we want. So that could be another player that, we wanted, and then we could go back for, because Kudus, we definitely wanted him before he joined West Ham. Twiggy says, watching from Ireland. Appreciate it. Get to Gyokeres. Kendrick says, I'm from Nigeria. Alex says, from Ghana. It's true that Zubimendi is going to Real Madrid. No, a lot of people are worried about that. Zubimendi is going to be an Arsenal player. Real Madrid also have this thing about they try to bully people. Don't let Madrid bully you. They can only bully us when it comes to Champions League trophies. Yeah, I know they're the biggest team in the world, but I'm talking about in football. You can tell them, no, can you actually beat us in a football match? Osman says, I'm always listening to your updates. I'm a fan from Sierra Leone. Appreciate it. Jacob says, Nigeria. I've seen Kenya. I've seen Ghana again. I've seen Nigeria again. I've seen Kenya again. I've seen USA. I've seen Nigeria again. What about Yildiz? That one has not really been. I've not come across that name the last 2 weeks. So it depends on how much. I wouldn't think that this would be amongst the first signings at Arsenal. I wouldn't say so. So I think right now we're just looking. If I was to say 5 players that we are looking at right now for sure, Kepa is one of them. Rodrygo is one of them. These two. Sesko and Gyokeres, those are 4. And then probably I'd say Nico Williams. Those are the 5 that we're really looking at. Zubimendi is obviously on the list. You can include him in the top 5. And then there's others that have been mentioned, but we are not sure how it's going to go. Semenyo, Rogers is another one. Those ones that have been mentioned, but we're just waiting. There's another one. Who am I forgetting? I would say there's like a list of 10. It's not like as much as people say that, oh my goodness, we are being linked to 100 players. It's not as many as it used to be 5-6 years ago. We used to get linked to like 40-50 players in one transfer window. Right now we usually hear about the same players. Like you'll hear about Sesko for like a month. You will hear about Gyokeres the last 1 year. It's usually the same names. Frederick says Ghana. Michael says Kenya. Coco says Ghana. Kenya, Ghana. Appreciate you guys watching from everywhere, man. I appreciate everyone watching from everywhere. I want Arsenal Sesko deal concluded soon, as says Idris. Joel says, I want you to study in the School of Journalism. I'm not a reporter, though. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm not a journalist. Journalism. No, I probably can present a show. I would like to be like on a show, like on TV and talk about football, but not journalism. I also feel like it has a lot of rules. Just like coming to talk about Arsenal. Can we get both Sesko and Gyokeres? I don't think it's possible. Even if we wanted to, none of them would agree to join as a second choice. Cameroon. Sylvester is watching from Cameroon. Solomon is watching from Zambia. Arke is watching from US. Partey is watching from Nigeria. Those are like 13 countries I've seen there. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully we do get another update today. So there's another video coming up later on. And then tomorrow, same time, join me at the same time. Hopefully we start celebrating signings very, very soon. Hopefully that is the plan. Let's start celebrating signings very soon. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next time. Before I go, let me read this one comment. Kimster says Kenya, and Dan, nice seeing you here, says England. So appreciate you guys. See you tomorrow, same time, same